SABC CEO Madoda Mxakwe says the public broadcaster is technically insolvent and unable to fulfill its financial obligations. He was speaking on the financial state of the SABC. On Monday, the SABC notified staff that it intended to embark on the retrenchment of 981 permanent staff and not renew the contracts of 1,200 freelancers. Mxakwe says the freelancers cost the company over 500 million rand, while managers and junior managers' wage bill costs the broadcaster just over R1 billion. Jonathan Thekiso, SABC Group Executive for Human Resources, explained the Section 189 process, what it is, and more importantly, what it means for SABC employees.
189 is Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act, and it is the section that deals with retrenchments. Where are we at the moment? We're at a point where we've consulted with organized labor. That is our representative unions, and in essence these are three unions, and that's Communication Workers Union, that's PEMAU, and that's MWASA. And I think people will frown at the fact that MWASA is also included, whereas they don't command the majority. The Act is very clear that when you go through Section 189, you have to make sure that you include all the unions that are representative or that have members within the organization. And so we met on the 12th of October with all unions to communicate to them the fact that the organization is in the process of invoking Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act. That meeting could not proceed to the extent that we wanted it to, and it essentially was not concluded. And the conclusion was the fact that we want to put the notice, Section 189 notice, in abeyance, so that we can come back at a point where we are able to provide organized labor with all the information that they are looking for. And so we have then been able to issue a Section 189 that is fit for purpose. Fit for purpose in the sense that it encompasses all the characteristics that are articulated in Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act. And I'm just going to take half a minute to indicate to you what are those characteristics. First of all, our notice indicates the rationale as to why we're invoking Section 189. And the rationale is divided into two areas or two tiers. The first being the financial aspect, and the CFO has given you some glimpse as to the dire financial strait that the organization finds itself. So the first rationale is the financial. The second rationale is the structural reason. And the structural reason is very interesting if we understand that we have, on one hand, a contingent of freelancers, and on the other hand, we have a contingent of permanent employees. At this point in time, we have 2,400 plus minus freelancers on one hand, and then we have 3,376 employees permanent on the other hand. Now, what has happened over time is that we have found a situation where, in some instances, you have our permanent employees having their functions being taken away or taken over by freelancers, and thereby inflating the wage bill. And so this is the structural tier that I'm referring to, where I'm saying that our notice is premised on two tiers. Our notice goes further to indicate the number of positions that have been identified to be affected. Let's pause here and indicate that whereas the organization has identified that number of employees, which at this point in time is 981, the notice is very clear that Section 189 affects all employees. It affects all employees, from executive directors to the lowest grade employee within the organization.